The Portland Trailblazers bringing in Gary Payton II on a 3-year, $28 million deal. He has some defense that they desperately needed.
Okay. Was it 3-year, 28?
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at how much cap space they have left. But just from a purely team building perspective, I give that an A minus. I give that an A minus. And when you think about it, if Nasir Little continues to make strides, we know what Jerami Grant is. Jerami Grant, here's a fun fact. He allowed the least points per possession on isolation last year. And anecdotally, we loved what he did against the Lakers when he was on the Nuggets, playing against AD, playing against LeBron. We know what he can do in the playoffs. You just brought in a guy, Gary Payton. We talked about him all year, one of the best defenders in the league. You can put out two guys who are tried and tested, elite top-level defenders. Nasir Little, clearly getting better. He has tremendous defensive potential, maybe doing strides there. You can finally put out a team with Damian Lillard that can get a stop. Like, it's been years. And they maybe you'll mention this next, but I think they extended Anfernee Simmons 4 years, 100.
Simons 4 years, 100.
Solid deal for a guy who
Nurkic 4 years, 70 million as well.
Yeah, so they're clearly gearing up. They believe this is the next iteration of Dame being in Portland. They've invested long term for these guys, and they think Dame's got more in the tank, and they're the guys who are going to do it. I think that this is a fine strategy for a team who drafted a guy who's a massive swing in Shaedon Sharpe. So maybe they're still like a middling playoff team, but I still think that they've elevated themselves to a team that will be back in the playoffs next year. I give that an A minus. Gary Payton. I'll give everything they've done here, honestly, an A minus, because they've steadied the ship, and that's all they needed to do for Dame to give him a chance. You never know what happens in the playoffs. You never know what happens. They brought him at least to a point where he can compete and have defense to help them survive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you look at it and you think Anfernee Simons, he got that. That was just kind of, you had to do it sort of deal. But I look at Anfernee Simons and I see a player quite similar to Jordan Poole. Obviously, not done it at the same level. Only done it on that.
I think Anfernee Simons is better.
Yeah, maybe, but not like last year. He basically did it without Dame, and he averaged 17 points, 4 assists. He shot 40% from three, nearly 3 makes a game. And he, like that, the highlight obviously is that 43-point game and that win they had against the Hawks. He had some major highlights this year, and that was without Dame. Imagine him playing with Dame. He can do even better. It's not just going to be him having to make all of his own shots or create them for himself. I mean, the defense is where you worry about him and Lillard together, but if you're having a closing lineup with Gary Payton, Jerami Grant, and Nurkic, those three do the defensive job, and then you got the scoring ability of Lillard and Simons. Yeah, I like that, to be able to close out games in important times for this Portland team, and that's why I think I'd agree. I'd go. I might even make it an A for what they've done, without doing anything overly majorly dramatic to rebuild this team around Dame.
Yeah, I would have given them an A if they could have pulled off like and all right, and anyone can clap back in this and be like, all right, this is why they couldn't do it. Sure, fine. But like, I'll give them an A plus if they could have pulled off a Malcolm Brogdon-esque kind of deal. Get another steady playmaker, because I do think that's something they're missing, and we'll see. They're not done. I mean, not all these teams are done. Portland's probably working with minimums and MLEs at this point, but Portland does still need another playmaker, distributor, facilitator, true point guard, whatever you want to call it. Besides just having Dame out there, Anfernee Simons, they need a little bit more there. But yeah, I'll stick with the A minus.
Thanks for watching Coast to Coast on YouTube. For full episodes, check out the show wherever you get your podcasts. And for all the best hot takes, subscribe to the Coast to Coast YouTube channel below.